those of you who may not have seen or caught my Instagram this morning, I announced and consecrated today as the beginning of a 21-day fast that I am not only doing but leading worldwide. So, of course, first and foremost here in the Mother Center, the ashram where I live, and then in the ashrams overseas, and then in study centers, and whoever else wants to join in with me. So I thought I would start today by speaking a little bit about fasting, since it's something I've done for over 20 years and led many. Around this time last year, about sometime around a year ago, we did another 21-day fast. So this is the first one we've done in a year. So it's really exciting. And last year we had 20 or 30 people join in, but not everyone went the duration. I think only one or two stayed the duration with me. Now, this is a juice fast, by the way. There are many, many types of fasting. It's a very genericized word. So this particular fast we're doing is a juice fast of fresh pressed juices, primarily vegetable juices, and primarily ones in the various green families. There'll probably be a little bit of beet, a little bit of carrot, but mostly green vegetables, and as many organic as we can find. So, fasts, as I said, can take many, many forms and many durations. Now, I have a practice that I have followed in the tradition of many masters in India, whereby 1 day a week it's suggested that people fast. It's a great, great tool for weight management, for appetite management and appetite suppression. It's just it's a powerful sacred offering to God and Guru if you happen to have one. In the Eastern tradition, Thursday is normally the day that everyone does in honor of their gurus. But whenever you do, it's a really, really great and powerful tool. Now, in the extended fasting, a lot of people will do 3-day fasts, and again, you have to, first and foremost, there are two rules, golden rules of thumb that I always share with people. It's critically important, first and foremost, to listen to and honor your body. I cannot emphasize that enough, because there are many people who want to do things because someone else is doing them, to impress someone, to look good, to win the favor of the teacher or the guru or the nutritionist or whoever it is. All the wrong reasons. Your body is your temple, and everyone's body is different. Everyone's nutritional needs are different. Everyone's energetic needs are different. Everyone's limitations are different. So your body has to come first. You can hold a vision of doing something, but cater to your body's needs. Second, and equally important rule of thumb, until you become very facile and very adept at doing them, and at knowing your body and listening to it and being able to attune to it, I cannot stress enough the critical importance of having your fasts be supervised by someone who is professional or expert in his or her field, whether it's your spiritual teacher, your guru, a nutritionist, a kinesiologist, a naturopath, somebody. A lot of people harm themselves, and some people kill themselves fasting in ways that their body is nowhere near prepared for or wanting to do. So those are critically important. And even here, in my presence, there will be people, maybe 1 or 2 people will go the 21 days with me. Different people will do different types of fasts. Now, from the high end of the spectrum to the low end of the spectrum, people who are very accustomed to fasting, who eat a really clean diet. By clean, I mean very little, if any, processed food, refined sugar, white death, which is white flour, white rice, white sugar, what nutritionists call white death, chemicals, preservatives, sweeteners, junk foods, fried foods, dairy, heavy, dense foods, too much meat, animal fat. I mean, people who have those mostly out of their diet and have done a lot of fasting will find it more easy to do and can go on longer fasts and still have phenomenal detox, purification, cleansing, and your skin clears up. Sometimes usually there's a fair amount of weight loss, though that again should not be your primary motive or reason for doing a fast. It is a collateral blessing of doing one, but most people recommend against them as a weight loss tool if that's your primary motive. The primary purpose of fasting is internal cleansing and spiritual cleansing and acceleration as well, but cleansing of the physical body, detox, purification, and spiritual acceleration. And then a secondary one could be for weight loss as well. So those who have less healthy diets, people who do eat a lot of meats, junk foods, fried foods, candy, sugars, sweeteners, dairy, and have not done fasting, they first and foremost should not even be doing a 21-day fast. And usually for people who come to me in that closer to that end of the spectrum, I usually tailor a fast for them because I said again, fasting is a very generic word. I'll tailor it for them, whereas maybe we'll remove certain categories which they eat every day. We'll remove those, and so they'll still be consuming food, probably not go 21 days. And some people I might just put on fruits and vegetables, or just vegetables. Some people will take out a lot of toxic stuff. Some people will just pare down the complex carbohydrates, the starches that they're eating. So they still have the experience of fasting and purifying. The point I'm making here is that fasting doesn't simply mean starve yourself, eat no food, and if you can't do that, then you're a loser and you can't do it. Anyone can fast, can give up certain amounts of whatever it is they're doing and have tremendous benefit and feel victorious. That's the other critical thing, is you don't want to set yourself up to fail. You want to create something that is attainable and that is some measurable growth and improvement in your life in some way. And to that end, anyone and everyone can fast. But again, it needs to be tailored to where you're at, what your needs are, what your body's limitations and capabilities and abilities are. And in so doing, you can have a very successful experience. Very successful. And it doesn't have to mean go without food. Now, the traditional or ancient definition of fasting was to go without food. But nowadays, there are many, many different variations on the theme. Then there are a lot of people who simply blend their food and pulverize it, and they call that fasting because they think it's juicing. But juicing is traditionally juicing is when you extract the essence of something, not just pulverizing your food is making smoothies and liquefying your food. That's not juicing. But again, it doesn't mean it's right or wrong, just helping to clarify definitions. Because I've seen people say, oh, I'm fasting, and they're eating all the same food they're eating, they're just putting it in a blender. So you're just not chewing. That's what you're doing, but you're not necessarily fasting. Okay, now a couple of points I want to bring out. One of the things that is very, very helpful if you are doing any type of fast, and especially ones at the far end of the spectrum with juicing or abstaining from food, it's very, very powerful, helpful, and accelerating to clean out your system at the beginning. The first day or two to go have colonics, colon hydrotherapy, the official name, where your body is flushed out. That will create faster purification, faster detox, much more accelerated energy expansion, and accelerated detox and purification on every level of your being. So that is something that I do recommend. And again, if you haven't done it, anyone who's never done colonics, you oftentimes, and they'll tell you when you go there, because they'll discuss, a good center will discuss with you what your lifestyle is like. And oftentimes they'll do a series of 3 over the course of maybe a week to clean someone out who's never done them, or who's someone who's very toxic. And I use the word in quotes, but whose health and or diet is not of the highest standards, let's put it that way. And if you're already fairly clean and pure, sometimes just having one flush, which takes about between 30 and 45 minutes to do a full colonic series, in one sitting. That's often enough just to get the ball rolling, and you feel a huge difference. Lots of energy you'll get, and lightness. So that is something that I do recommend. We did them last year and to great effect, and we'll be doing them again here this year. Now, a lot of people will incorporate a heavy amount of fruit juices in their fasts, and some people have difficulty with that. It could give people cramps, can make them diuretic. We're going more with a greens fast on this one than a fruit. There'll be minute amounts of fruit in it, maybe a little bit of apple mixed in with the vegetables in the evening. Apple is one fruit that does mix all right with vegetables. But by and large, we're going to stick more with, mostly more than 90% will be all vegetable based, and in the greens family. Now, when I do my own fasting personally, particularly the longer fasts, I've done many 7 to 10 day fasts, and this would be my third 21 day, and I've done one 40-day fast a few years ago, where I was living on just coconut water and not eating the coconuts, but just was drinking 4 coconuts a day, and that was amazing. But in the beginning of longer fast, if I'm doing a fast that's 7 days or more, I will often start with not only the colonic, but I'll start with some other detox fluids. Like I'll drink a lot of very healing teas. Ganostema, or the detox mix that Yogi Teas puts out is really phenomenal. Look at some of the different cleansing herbs, echinacea, and have those just pure teas with nothing added. No milk, no cream, no sweetener. Just incorporating some of those teas in the first few days really helps clean the body out, and those minerals and nutrients get right into the cells when you're doing a fast. It's the assimilation of them is much more increased. Sometimes I'll also pick up a bottle of noni. It's one of the most powerful superfoods on the planet, noni juice, pure noni, and just have an ounce or 2 in the morning until the bottle is gone. And I incorporate sometimes a little bit of coconut water. This is another point I want to bring up with fasting. A lot of people sometimes will have difficulty with their blood sugar, getting lightheaded, getting cravings, or just feeling maybe a little nausea, or too tired and sluggish. And one of the things that can augment, again, hardcore fasters may not have this issue, but most of the people in the middle do, and that's like more than 80% of the people who fast will have some issues with their ride with their blood sugars. And so 2 suggestions I have that can help augment that. One is having just a couple of ounces of pure coconut water anytime you're feeling that lightheadedness or dizziness, or like your blood sugar is just not in balance. Or there's another very, very famous fast, a cleanse that everybody who fasts knows about. This is called the Master Cleanse, which has water and a little bit of pure maple syrup and a little bit of cayenne, and that has lemon too, right? I believe, and that having a little sip of that, can help stabilize the blood sugar as well. And you can look up on the internet, Master Cleanse. The recipe is ubiquitous, so you can find it anywhere. So those are the 2 things that are really, really powerful to help with your blood sugars, and that should sustain. Bear in mind, those of you who haven't done fasting, the first day is usually brutal. You want to chew someone's arm off, and you have to hide your household pets and all of that. So, but remember, more than 80% of our human experience of hunger is mental and emotional. It's not physical. The body can go weeks and weeks without food at all. Not so much water, but solid food. The body can go. You've seen these survival stories where people, floating in a boat for a month or 2. So most of what we misinterpret as hunger is usually mental and emotional stuff going on. And so when you begin a fast, your mind often goes insane. And the fast will go in peaks and troughs. My experience has been, over the 20 years I've been doing it, that there's after you get through day 1 or 2, you start to go in this crescendo of a high, and then around day 6, there's this crash and burn where you're just going crazy and you just want to do anything to eat. And most people stop around 6 or 7. And if you get through that slump around day 6 or 7, you go on to another crescendo of a huge high that goes till about day 10. And then if you get over that one, which is even bigger, then I remember when I did my 40-day fast, the concept of food was actually repulsive. And I was experiencing food, just smelling it or seeing it, I was actually getting full and feeling like I had eaten a giant meal. It's really, really amazing. Again, I'm not advocating everyone just stop eating or that. I'm just saying how cycles tend to go for many people. And again, it's the mind mostly that's taking you through that. Also, something not so much just exclusive to fasting, but the human body and its needs and its mental interpretations. Most of the time, when people actually believe they're hungry, they're usually thirsty, because almost every human being lives in a constant state of dehydration. Because on average, we're supposed to be consuming about half our body weight in ounces per day. So if you weigh 150 pounds, 75 ounces of water, that's more than half a gallon of water a day. Most people have a few sips, maybe a glass or two, the course of a day. Ergo, most human beings are dehydrated. And what people misinterpret as hunger is actually thirst. So if people were drinking more water, that alone, you would need, your appetite would probably drop maybe close to 30, minimum 30, as much as 50% if you were properly hydrated. There was something I was going to say, and I just lost my train of thought. Just zoomed right out of my head. Anyway, maybe it'll come back to me. It's about hydration. I didn't want to move on. I might have to come back. Okay, so people who are very adept at fasting often will include enemas, daily enemas, in their fasting to, again, increase and accelerate the detoxifying and the purifying of their bodies. It's not something I've done a lot of. I have done some of it, but I usually, for myself, I've done the colonics in the beginning to clean me out, and then nothing but pure juices going in. So I haven't, it's not something I'm particularly invested in doing, but I know other people who do it, and they swear by it. So I'm not going to, advocate for or against it. Again, that's left up to the individual. But I'm sharing it because it is a very common part and participle of the fasting process, if you feel so inclined. A note to beginners. I did say everybody to pay attention to your body, but also it's really important to know when to stop. Again, hopefully you're doing it with professional supervision, but to know when to stop and not push yourself beyond what you feel comfortable with. We're not out to prove anything. There's no need for heroics or to impress anyone. It's a personal experience, and if you keep your focus there, that will serve you best. And don't feel you need to keep up with those next to you. We're not in a race to win anything. There's no medal, because again, everyone's body is different, and we're all at different places. There are people who fast a lot better than I do, and there are people who fast less than I do. So another caveat for fasting, and I recommend this as well. Again, there may be exceptions to the rule, but by and large, it is highly recommended if you're doing any type of intense fasting, like more than a day or 2 or 3, that you moderate and reduce any heavy exercise, heavy labor, that it can be dangerous, because your body, ideally, when a lot of people do long fast, they'll go into some sort of retreat where they can just really scale it way, way down, or go off somewhere into a retreat. And that way they just focus on that. But if you have to stay in your day-to-day, work-a-day world, as many do, just dial it down, dial it way down. I know people, I have a few friends who work in very, very heavy construction, and for that reason they said, I just cannot do an extended fast because the demands that my physical body needs, carrying hundreds of pounds and using deadly machinery or potentially deadly machinery, they just can't take the risk of feeling low energy or feeling lightheaded or dizzy or not at the top of their game. So same thing with a lot of hardcore sports, people who are really, really super athletes. If you're doing an extended fast, they may have to scale down. And again, the supervision, the experts, and you're listening to your body will help find those levels for where that is for you. I'm primarily a swimmer, and I'm going to continue swimming and just see how it goes. And if I need to scale it down a little bit, I will. If I need to stop, I will. I'm not too concerned about that. I'm mostly concerned with taking care of my body. But I do want to put in that note about people who do very, very heavy, laborious jobs or sports. Just be mindful of that. You don't want to risk injury. And those are the primary aspects I wanted to share about it. And also, as I said, I touched on lightly in the beginning, it's a very spiritual cleansing and acceleration as well. And when you have a master leading one, a spiritual master leading one, there's a blessing. The blessing of his or her darshan is going into that fast. And so that's one of the reasons why I announce them if I'm doing them and invite people to join, because there's a synergy in joining into that collective consciousness and energy. And you get swept up in that, and you get sourced and fed by it. So you'll find that your own personal fast, when you're joining in, and not just with a master, like in the case of myself leading one, but even when you do it with others, that synergy is very, very supportive, and it helps. Like when people do workout programs and have training buddies, or they diet with their best friends, that support is really incredible. But I'm talking more than support. I'm talking about an actual alchemical energy that will overlight, bless, enhance, and empower your fast if you're starting on this day with us and with myself. And again, you'll fade out and tailor it as you need to, but the same blessing is there for you, sourcing at whatever level you are fasting and for however long you do, which, by the way, is perfect. Whether it's a day, 2 days, 3 days, a week, 2 weeks, or the full 21 days, just see it as perfect for you. I have every intention of going 21, but I don't know. Something could change. But my intention is to do the 21. All right. So, good luck. Buona fortuna. And I will be checking in. I'll be posting through my Instagram and on Facebook updates as we move along. All right.